All right, Friday main event. We are live at Eagleville, Tennessee. Got a huge region battle over here. Forrest coming to town, Region 5. Two teams we felt, Lee, heading into the season, along with Lewis County, probably going to be competing for this region title. We're joined now by Eagleville head coach Floyd Walker. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, gentlemen. How about y'all?
We are great, man. I told you before we started, I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of carry you down memory lane. I think you played your college football there at
I did,
MTSU.
yes.
You played with Boost. I think you coached with Boost
Well,
Donnelly.
I noticed that was the first thing that I popped up and I saw. For some reason or another, his name popped up, and I'm like, oh, Lord.
Well, you know where I'm going then. But yeah, you played with Boost Donnelly, and then I think you or played for him. And then you coached
Yes,
under him.
sir.
I think for 15 years. I talked to Joe Campbell sometimes on Facebook.
Bless your heart.
Did you play with him?
I coach Joe.
Okay,
I coach
he's a
Joe.
character, isn't he?
He is. Joe likes some Joe, too, now.
I hear you. Well, I was over at Indian Hills a few years ago, and Boots Donnelly, you know, he lives over
Yes,
there.
sir. Did you hit one in his house?
I did. Did I tell you that story
No,
already?
no.
I sure did, man. I was on that par three. I kind of shanked one over there, hit on top of his house. I'm like, he's out there in his yard
Right.
working on his flower bed. I'm like, oh, man, this is embarrassing. I'm going to go over and get my ball. I picked my ball up. Boots says, son, it ain't OB. Go ahead and play him right there. So he's a good guy. You got any good Boots? You got to have a good Boots story.
None that I can say on the air, probably.
Well, I'm a little disappointed. I thought for sure you'd have a good
no,
Boots story for me.
Look, it was nothing but great times back in those days. When you talk to people who either played for him or coached for him, it was difficult, it was tough, but you do it all over again in a heartbeat because you knew what type of man he was and what he stood for. And as a player, when we all get back together, we talk about a lot of us wouldn't be where we are if the discipline and the structure that he implemented in us,
Right.
if he didn't take the time to do that for us. So we appreciate everything that he's ever done for us.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, the last time we talked to you was at the Cascade scrimmage, and
Yes.
You hadn't decided on a quarterback yet.
Right.
Are you still quarterback by committee right now? Or
No,
have you
no.
settled into it?
Right now, we're gonna go with Marcus Collins, and he's done a admirable job for us up to this point. You're 2-0, and we're not gonna change with him. The kids believe in him, and he has everybody's respect as far as the people in the locker room goes. So we're gonna ride with him for right now, and hopefully things can continue to go well for him.
You got a couple games like we talked about
Yes.
under your belt now, and you got a lot of youth on this team in a lot of positions. Two games in, how would you rate their performances so far?
From a technical standpoint, we're not playing clean right now. We're making some mistakes, but that's because of the youth.
Right.
But from just an all-out effort standpoint, attitude standpoint, I told people that this has been an exciting and fun group to coach, just because of they don't complain, they don't care who's doing what. They just show up every day and they compete with one another, and that's all you can ask from a young group of kids.
Mike Molder and Lee Teat talking to Eagleville head coach Floyd Walker here on a Friday main event. Coach, you really can't talk about Eagleville football unless you mention Trevor Griffin. I mean, he's done so much for the program. I think he actually led the state in interceptions last year with 9. Talk a minute about what Trevor's meant to you, and what's it going to mean when he's actually done with this program.
Well, when you start talking about Trevor, you have to start talking about his entire family. For the last 8 years, we've had a Griffin on our football team.
Okay.
His older brother Tyler played for us, and he wore 21, and now Trevor's finishing up wearing 21 too. So when you talk about Trevor, you have to talk about his complete family because they've meant a lot to me personally, just because of allowing their kids to come through our program.
Right.
But they've been great friends to me, and to see him do the things that he's doing, especially in the first 2 games. I get great satisfaction of it, not because of our success wins and losses, but it's almost like it's one of your kids having success too.
Right.
So I'm tickled for that kid. I hope that it can continue, and I'm just proud of him for the young man that he's become.
Coach, we talk about your youth on your team, and it's a team game. But speaking of a couple of the kids that you'd mentioned earlier, in the preseason, Elisha Hockett and Cates, was it Snitzer?
Yes, sir.
How have they looked for you?
Played really, really well, especially Snitzer. Snitzer's been able to, we moved him to wide out. He was a quarterback early on, but we felt like he's got a lot of athletic ability, a lot of talent, and he's made some big plays for us this year, especially in the passing game as far as deep balls go. Um, and Elijah, he's a young kid. He hadn't played. He attends Central Magnet on the co-op program out here with our football program, and the more he plays, just the better he gets. And if we can ever get him really, really strong, we think he's going to be a tremendous player for us too.
Coach, you guys have got a really good Forrest team coming in. They knocked off Portland, a little bit of a shock last week. They're led by senior Nick McClendon. I've heard his name mentioned as a Mr. Football candidate already. What were your overall impressions of Forrest when you watched game film? And I guess it's going to be pretty important to know where McClendon's at all night.
There's no question about it. But they've got several other guys besides McClendon that can hurt you with the ball in their hands. But the thing that stands out, first of all, is their size. There's no question about that. Forrest always has tremendous size.
Right.
They do a great job. They're fundamentally sound running the wing tee. Defensively, they're big up front and hard to move. And then they're a little bit more athletic than they've been in the past couple of years overall speed-wise. When you look at the other backs in the wing tee, the wide outs, the quarterback is really doing a great job distributing the ball. It's a team that you'll have to defend everything, which makes defending the wing tee a little bit more difficult. Everybody thinks that it's run, but they do a good job mixing up the pass, so we're going to have to be extremely disciplined doing that.
Right.
Coach, last couple of years it's been a really tight, competitive ball game for you.
He didn't even want us to come to this
one,
Lee.
Y'all always pick this one. I don't know why.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We were over here 2 years ago, for your 1-point overtime win. You expect Forrest, this is kind of becoming, because it's a tight ball game and it is a region play, but it's kind of becoming a rivalry.
Right, it is.
A rivalry game. You expecting Forrest to bring a lot of fans?
Oh, I think it's going to be a tremendous atmosphere here tonight. They've told me that there's been a lot of bantering going back between student sections. They tell me that the entire community of Chapel Hill's coming over, so we expect this to be maybe a standing room only night tonight, and it'll be
good.
And it'll be great for the kids on both sides of the field to compete in that type of atmosphere, because a lot of times 2A schools get overlooked, especially in Rutherford County,
right?
Because of the larger schools. When you start talking about Oakland and Blackman and Riverdale and those people,
right.
But 2A schools also provide a great product. So I'm hopeful that these kids get to see that type of atmosphere tonight.
Well, it's good for your program too, monetarily.
Oh, absolutely,
all that, man. That's what you're after.
We'll probably never end up having field turf here, okay? But with a gate like that, it'll provide you an opportunity to do a little bit more things for your kids,
right.
And that's all it's about. You want to make sure that your kids can get the best things out there.
Right.
Well, Coach, I think Billy Spann has been with you the whole time as your DC, I believe.
Sir.
How important has Coach Spann been to the success of the program?
Well, anytime that you can have continued continuity on your staff, that's a big plus for the kids, because they know what's coming. They know who's going to coach them. They know what you're going to be defensively, and that's one of those deals where it may become a little bit routine for older kids, but at least it's something that it's a repetitive learning curve for them. So they know that we're going to get in and we're going to move. We're going to slant one way or the other. We're going to do what type of coverages that we do. And I think that's been a big plus for us defensively, especially with this young group that we have.
We're talking Eagleville football with head coach Floyd Walker here on the Friday main event.
Well, Coach, speaking of defense and your DC there, you're only giving up 14 points a game so far this season. Assuming you're pretty happy with those numbers, and other than Trevor Griffin, which we've already talked about, who stood out on that side of the ball to you?
On the offensive side?
On the defensive side.
On the defensive side, the biggest one that stood out for us has been, of course, Wyatt McLemore's playing our Mike linebacker. We had a young man named Oscar Guerrero's playing a defensive tackle for us. He's got an unbelievable motor, but he will not be with us tonight due to injury. But those two have really, really done a great job, because we ended up having to replace basically 8 starters on defense last year. We had 3 guys returning in the secondary that played some football, but we had returned 8. And I mean, the thing again, you don't really have a standout. You really don't have anybody's name that jumps off the page of you, but it's a group of kids that just
Good continuity.
keep on fighting.
Yeah.
They just keep on fighting, and we always try to preach, look, if you don't give up the home run, if you make people snap it, somebody just make the tackle, make them snap it again, eventually something good is going to happen for you, and they bought into that.
Yeah. Well, Coach, Ethan Cobb moved on to Tennessee Tech.
No.
Yeah.
I thought I was really going to get away with not having to answer that one.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I kind of got you on that. No, I was just wondering. I know they won their first game last week. I didn't know if you'd had any contact with him.
Yeah, I talked to him. Of course, I talked to Ethan. I try to talk to him still.
See, I didn't go where you thought I was going to go.
Yeah. I still try to talk to him about once a week. I try to talk to him and any of the other kids that played last year just to make sure that they're doing all right as they start their college careers off.
Right.
But it looks like he's going to get redshirted. He didn't get to dress for the game.
Yeah.
He's one of those, how they hold the big posters up on the sideline. He's doing that for Tech, but he said it was one of the greatest and wildest games that he's ever been associated with in his life.
A lot of points.
Right. So for him to enjoy that type of experience, and then able to share it with me, then it says a lot about our relationship and the relationship that I have with his folks. So I'm happy for that kid, and I'm just hoping that he can do well in the classroom also.
Hey, that's right.
Well, Coach, Lee and I really appreciate you letting us come over here and be a part of this, man. Wish you a lot of luck tonight. I think it's going to be a good one.
Anytime, and I hope you get your hamburger before you get out of here.
Well, I thought I might swap that to I had a guy tell me you bake potatoes real good. I might swap it out for that.
Well, I don't ever get to have one during the game, so I really can't tell you, okay? But, hey, if it don't go my way, all right, tonight, you may see me over there just eating a baked potato. I'm going to say, hey, y'all got him, okay?
Hey, I got one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who's reffing the game tonight?
I have no idea.
I thought we might have to warn them before they come in. Last time we was over here, Coach, you lit that ref up.
I did not. Allegedly.
You ain't admitting nothing, are you?
No, that's right.
Well, Coach, buddy, we appreciate it, man. Like I say, man, it's great being over here. We appreciate you, and hopefully we can hook up with you again for the years.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate everything y'all do for high school football.
Coach, thank you, sir.
All right, that's Coach Floyd Walker, head coach of Eagleville Eagles. Big game tonight. Lee, we'll go ahead and cut to break here, get our next coach lined up, and this is a Friday main event. Mike Molder and Lee Teat. We'll be back after this. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a minute about our title sponsor, CoachT.com. We appreciate Jim Thompson and all the guys over at Coach T joining up with us. We'll be partnered with them for the second consecutive year. So Friday main event, we're honored to be associated with such a great website. If you're into high school sports, whether you play, you have a child that plays, or just an ordinary fan, CoachT.com is a place you need to check out. And it's not just football. I mean, football is probably the biggest reason people visit CoachT.com. But if you have a kid into any other sport, softball, baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, if it's a high school sport, most likely you're going to find some information on CoachT.com. But what I want to talk to you about in particular is the Coach T Plus membership, which I happen to be a part of. For the second year in a row, the Coach T Plus membership will be donation-based. So you decide what Coach T is worth to you. That's what's so great about the website. You can make as much commitment to the website as you feel comfortable with. Now, myself, I'm on the website, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. So, I feel like, I owe it to the website and I owe it to Coach T to make a nice donation, and hopefully you guys will feel that commitment as well. We do want to keep the website running. Many of us get a lot of enjoyment out of the website, but the Plus membership, you get access to certain boards that you don't have as just a regular member of Coach T. So that's one reason the Plus membership. Another reason is you're kind of the captain of your team. You're in charge of the schedule to do that, and that's what the Coach T Plus membership. It kind of provides you a certain degree of ownership into the website. So please check it out, man. It's on the front page. You go to the home page, again, CoachT.com. There's a tab right there where you can click and become a Coach T Plus member. And just because you are now, don't assume you are forever. That is a one-year membership, so you need to double check, make sure your membership has not expired. Again, from the Friday Main Event. All right, we are back here, Friday Main Event. Lee, Eagleville, Tennessee, got a big Region 5 rivalry as Forrest headed over here tonight. Should be a great game. Pretty excited, man. Good weather.
Man, anytime you're around Friday night football, it's exciting.
Absolutely. Speaking of exciting, we're going to head over to East Tennessee. We got one of our favorite coaches on new, recently moved back to Tennessee, East Hamilton head coach Grant Reynolds. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing great, man. How are you guys?
We're awesome, man. Like I said, we got good weather. Y'all in pretty good shape over there from a weather standpoint?
Yeah, going to be a beautiful night for football. Nice and clear and got a good breeze blowing.
Well, Coach, of course, you were over there at Boyd Buchanan. That's where we met you at. You went down to Madison Academy. You had 3 or 4 good years down there. I think you averaged 10 wins a game down there. What was the main reason for you deciding to head back up here to Tennessee?
My wife didn't like Alabama, so
she's a smart woman.
She's from Chattanooga, and she's got her roots here, man. And we gave it 3 years, and we had some great runs down there. But at the end, you got to do what's best for your family. And she wanted to come back home, so I started looking.
You're a smart man.
Well, Coach, you might have answered my question there, but there were a lot of coaching openings this year in Tennessee. But what was it about the East Hamilton program that lured you there?
Just the potential, it's in a great location over here in East Brainerd, and our school was just tested out as one of the top schools in the county. The administration here is really behind athletics and extracurricular things, and after the interview, I came away feeling, man, that would be a good place to come to and to try to get the program, back to where it needed to be.
Well, Coach, I know I think that program, they were running an I formation type offense under Coach Gatewood, and I know you like that fast-paced spread offense, hurry-up type offense. How well have the kids responded to that change?
Kids have adapted really, really well. They ran the wing tee a lot last year, and so we come in, and I used to not be that guy. For years I was a defensive guy, and past few years I got around some offensive guys that were really, really good-minded, and I started looking at from a defensive perspective, what would I hate to see? And the no huddle, man, presents so many challenges to a defense, just trying to keep up, not being able to call your stunts and blitzes, and so that's kind of what changed me on that. But our kids, are really latched on to it and having fun with it. We get a lot of people involved. I think we use 6 or 7 different receivers each game. We alternate some quarterbacks. We use 2 running backs, and just trying to keep everybody involved.
Well, Coach, speaking of your quarterbacks there, we know Haynes Eller got off to a great start. I think he went 17 to 27 for 263 yards and a couple of TDs. I'm assuming you're pretty happy with his progress picking up on your new offense.
He has. I mean, he wasn't a starter last year. He was here at school, played football, but we got him back in May and started trying to teach him how to read defenses. And our offensive staff has done a great job of coaching him up, and he's a smart kid. He's really latched on to it, and he studies the game and wants to get better each week.
Mike Molder and Lee Teat talking Hurricane football with East Hamilton head coach Grant Reynolds here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, I've had a little time this week. I kind of watched some huddle video on you guys. 2 of your kids that, man, I was really impressed with on the defensive side of the ball were Ben Holmes and Blaine Savage. Now, Savage in particular, man, that kid has got a real nose for the football. He's all over the field. How impressed have you been with those kids so far?
Yeah, what a great defensive name too, Savage.
Absolutely, yeah.
You got to be good on defense with that name.
That's right.
He's a safety for us, real rangy kid that plays well in space and is not afraid to stick his head in there. And then Ben Holmes is first-time starter for us at middle linebacker and doing an excellent job as well.
Coach, you guys opened up the season with a very convincing win over Signal Mountain. And then, come real close to defeating a solid 5A squad in Saudi Daisy.
Right.
These two games, going after these two games, how would you grade your team right now?
Yeah, we want to win every game we play, and we were in that game last week and had a couple of special teams miscues. We snapped the ball over the punter's head twice.
That's always
gave
bad.
Up cheap touchdowns, and but the kids fought. I mean, they got behind. We fought back in the end and made it close. Came within, recovering an onside kick to have a chance to win that game.
Wow.
There at the end. So that we just want to be competitive, and I keep telling the kids, man, each week you're going to face adversity. You have to keep fighting and overcome those things, and especially in the region games, we want to win those things so we can jockey for position in the playoffs.
Right. Coach, we were talking about Eller earlier with you here. Who's emerged as his favorite target early this season?
Kanye Bergans is a kid that we've got out on the edge out there, tall 6'4" receiver that is only a sophomore, okay, and he's one of the targets that he likes. The other kid is Jackson Flemings. It's just kind of a gritty. I liken him to like one of those Patriot receivers, inside slot receiver.
Like a Welker.
Yeah, like a Wes Welker type kid that just gritty and can run the outcut and catch the ball and possession-wise. So those two guys really, he likes to throw too, but he'll throw the screen out there to Thornburg. Connor Thornburg's another one that catches a lot of passes, and then our running back Adam Cottle does a good job as well.
Well, matter of fact, you just you kind of got into what I was going to say. I watched a lot of video. Adam Cottle, he's a big bruising runner. He gets a lot of yards after contact, which I love. But, man, he's also a very good linebacker. He plays that linebacker spot really good. Which side of the ball are college recruiters looking at him?
I think that, he was a defensive player. He didn't play any offense for us last year, and so he's learning that running back position. But I think you're right. I think he's probably going to be a defensive player in college. He has a nose for the ball and, plays hard on that side of the ball. But we had to have him as a running back. He stepped in there and done a good job for us.
We're talking with East Hamilton head coach Grant Reynolds here on the Friday main event.
Well, Coach, you guys are opening up region play tonight against East Ridge. Did you see anything when you were watching the Pioneers on film that you think may give you some trouble?
They got a lot of speed. They got two really fast backs, and they'll run the jet sweep. We've got to make sure we set the corner well on that, and then we have to make sure that we defend the quarterback run. That quarterback runs pretty good. So those are two things that we got to see, and then offensively, we're just going to try to wear them down. If we can get to 80 plays tonight on offense, I think we got a chance to wear them down in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Well, that fast-paced offense, you guys might get there. Coach, looking at that region too, Anderson County's really dominated that region the last few years. Are they the team to beat again this year, in your opinion?
I think so. From what I've seen on film, they're going to be there. And I know, some of these other schools like Howard and Central, who are full of good athletes on any given night, they all can present a challenge. So we're just going to have to take it one week at a time and try to do the best we can.
Well, Coach, you and I have got a common buddy in Roy Dillard there on Coach T. He wanted me to pass a message on to you. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
He said he's so thankful that you got rid of them funny-looking glasses you was wearing in your Murphy Ferry book.
I started wearing contacts, yeah. I did that just to make him happy.
Well, I mentioned that I was going
to. I also tell him I got him on the pass list every night. If he ever shows up for a game, he can come in free.
He's got to identify himself, though, right?
That's right. He's got to show an ID.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, man. I mentioned that I was going to have you on. That was the only thing he's worth. Make sure you tell him I'm glad he ain't got them ridiculous glasses anymore. Oh, man, that's great. Well, Coach, man, I know you got stuff to do. Lee and I really appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight, and good luck to you guys tonight.
Thanks. Appreciate you and Lee, man, everything y'all do for high school football. It's so good to be back in the state of Tennessee, and the coverage is good by the local papers. I know out your way and our way, too, and the news people are just so good. And I just appreciate everything y'all do for our kids, man.
Hey, man, we're good. We're happy to have you back, brother. It's a good deal. Good deal for East Hamilton.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
All right,
Go
Coach.
Canes.
Good luck to you, brother.
All right.
All right. All right, Lee, that was Coach Grant Reynolds. Of course, you hadn't talked to him before, but you can see why I like him now,
Sure.
don't you?
Down to earth.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Really good coach, man. He does a phenomenal job. When he was at Boyd Buchanan, he had them in the playoffs every year. I think they made the finals one year. I don't think they won, but he had a really good coaching record there. And you saw what he did down in
Madison
Huntsville.
Academy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So East Hamilton, man, they couldn't have made a better hire.
Well, I'm sure he's got plenty of athletes.
I believe his daughter goes to UT. I think she's starting her junior year there. So of course that got him closer to her.
Sure.
So Mama's happy. That's the
yeah,
main
right
thing.
up 75, man. Be there in a few.
Yep. So keep Mama happy. That's the key to happiness in a marriage. Just Mama's always right.
That's it.
All right, Lee. Well, let's go ahead and cut to commercial break here, and I think we've got Dustin Wilson.
Dustin Wilson.
Springfield's coach, going to join us next. So this is a Friday main event. I am Mike Molder. He is Mr. Lee Teat, and we'll be back right after this. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. They do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now: 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online. Again, 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday main event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, they're great. We've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday main event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, we are back on the Friday main event live from Eagleville, Tennessee, getting ready for Eagleville and Forrest, big region
2A
showdown.
matchup.
2A showdown, undefeated teams. Should be a great game. We got another coach, a great coach, a guy, matter of fact, has had a lot of success over the last 3 or 4, 5
Right.
years. And I'm talking about Springfield head coach Dustin Wilson. Coach, how you doing, bud?
Good. How y'all fellas?
We are great, man. I really appreciate you getting on with us. I know you guys, I think you made the finals 2 years ago, and then you returned to the semifinals last year. How do you think this 2019 team is going to measure up to the last 2 teams you've had?
I don't have any idea. If I was telling you something, I'd be a guess, and if I knew it, I wouldn't be a school teacher and a football coach. So, just pushing them along as we know how to do, and you hope and pray for a group of young men to find themselves their identity, and group of seniors this year, although they're a small group numbers wise, just ready for their opportunity to lead. So, we get through those first 2 non-region games, and we split them. Now we're off to the region, and our goal is to make the playoffs and play when others aren't. So tonight's the first step towards that.
Right. Well, Coach, hey, man, when we met you up there at Cookville a couple years back in the 2017 when you had a runner-up finish,
Yep.
We knew then, once meeting you, how passionate you were for Springfield and how much you loved that program. And I think even your brother is even helping you coach, has been for a while. But can you talk about what made you a better coach from that loss?
I don't know. And you start talking about the program, it's all about Springfield, period. You can stop your sentence there. I want my home to be better. I was raised here, and um, I wish I'd got to meet y'all on the front end of that game, but unfortunately, I talked to y'all after it, and hey, we were there.
That's right.
Positive experience. A lot of people wishing they were playing there in front of other guys, and just made a lot of friends throughout the way. And you know, if I were going to tell you something that made me a better coach for that is just learning how to book a charter bus, and don't think you're gonna jinx if you book one, and traveling and learning West Tennessee and meeting people. And
Mhm.
the next week we Murphy or um, Mr. Marbert, however, they asked me to coach on that All-Star game. That was before the playoffs started. That was just a wonderful year in my career, just being around a bunch of good kids, number one, that believed in what was going on. And we went to Cookeville that year, and we could have very easily gotten beat by Hardin County. We didn't know what was going on or what's about to happen. Excuse me. We do know what's going on. If some may tell you that we don't, but
Right.
we try to act like it. But you just look at your playoff experience and you learn so much, regardless if you do want to say that you're experienced or not. Man, every game's different. Every group of kids is different.
Yes, sir.
Every run's different. But looking back on that, we just started out uh, playing Hardin County, and that was a tight game, and we learned where Lexington was in West Tennessee, and it was a big time learning experience for me. And this is year 8 here, and yes, to answer your question, my brother works with me every day, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. That was when I got offered the job. I said yes if Drew can come with me. So it's home. We're learning, we're growing, and so are the kids. So we're definitely not going to be hypocritical in asking him to grow up. We may be impatient at times, but that's a football coach. So, yeah, we're taking off against Heritage tonight, hoping things happen good for us again.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you got the opportunity to coach with your brother. That's great. Coach,
Yep.
I know you guys, I think, anyway, you've been playing a couple of kids at quarterback, Kivantes Hudson and Austin Day. I think both have got some time back there. Who's going to get the start tonight for the Yellow Jackets?
We'll be starting Austin again.
Okay.
And it's personnel based. If we want to do something, particular Austin's in that personnel he plays, and that's if you want to have a starter, that's who it is. But Cavantes has got a few personnel packages he's in, so he'll come in. And from Wilson Central at halftime, where our spirits wasn't so good, I just told him, hey, Austin, I'm gonna let you play, and Cavantes, it's not because you're not better than him. We just need you on the field, and right now it looks like both of them need to be on the field.
Right.
Austin had a good game last week. If you look at stats, obviously for the casual fan, you can tell he did all right. But just like managing and getting starts under his wing, just all that every play, whether it's a red zone appearance or whether it's a fourth down opportunity, we went forward. Just everything's so big when you start talking about experience with those kids. So he's got one under his belt. Got a lot of snaps last week, and we've got a very simple game plan this week. So you'll see Austin 65-70% of the time tonight probably, and box the rest. But if a situation arises the other one needs to be playing because we can do something better than White House Heritage, we'll sure try it.
Yes, sir.
Coach, you got pretty much your entire offensive line back from last season, and
Yep.
I'm assuming that's one of the strengths of your team. But can you tell us who's your leader up front on that line?
If you have to talk a leader, you got to say Austin Stiltner, because he plays a lot of snaps on both sides of the ball. He's a senior and been playing a lot of ball for 3 years. He played some as a sophomore, and this summer off season, his goal was to get to 200 pounds. So he's not going to get off the bus looking like he's our stud lineman or any means, but he's a technician. He does what he's asked to do.
Right.
He knows what the guy beside him is supposed to do, so that's where your leadership comes from. But you got to mention Trace Haley, Nathan Griffith have been doing a good job up front for us as well.
Mike Molder and Lee Teat talking Yellow Jacket football with Springfield head coach Dustin Wilson here on a Friday night event. Coach, my sources up that way said starting running back Kevonte White left the game with an injury last week. What's his status now, and will he return to the lineup tonight?
You don't pay those sources, do you, Mike?
No, sir. No, sir. I trust. If you saw Lee and I, you know we're not getting paid anything. It's pretty small setup here.
I've seen y'all boys before. It looked like I'd sit at a dinner table and fit along right with y'all. But
There you go.
yeah, Cavante did have an injury last week. He actually went down with a cramp. When he got up from cramping, he discovered his shoulder was a little, I don't know, banged up. But I probably wouldn't be that willing to give you that information if everybody didn't get to see it on TV and they zoomed in on it. So
don't feel obligated.
No, you're all good, man. I ain't hiding nothing. If he can play, he'll play. He is going to dress out tonight and see how he does in pregame and, warmed up, taking a few hits, and we'll let him go. But, any coach has got to be prepared in the game of football, who's behind him, and a week without him or being in the training room and just him being around mentally, you may see a lot of a freshman, number 11, that's stepped up for us, pretty good little Woodard kid. So if he can't play, we're ready to go next. But right now in our walkthrough, he was mixing in the reps with him. So
good.
He's a great kid and a good football player and one of our toughest kids out there. So
yes, sir.
Very, very important for us on the defensive side of the ball too. So we hope he says, "Coach, I'm good." And if he does say that, yes, sir, your source was correct. he was injured, but he's going for us tonight.
Good deal.
Well, Coach, you took one on the chin against Wilson Central in Week 1, but rebounded real nice against with a solid win over Clarksville last week. What did you feel the team improved up on in Week 2 that was maybe lacking a little bit against Wilson Central?
I really don't know. It's it was definitely an experience. I can't tell you why that happened at Wilson Central, but I can tell you it felt more like a gut shot than hit me in the chin. But it was an experience for the kids that have not been held accountable, I think, by themselves and by their peers. And I just think it's a new group, and it's just poor coaching and not getting them ready and telling them what was coming. So I didn't get them ready right, and I made sure that starting with the coaches that Monday after that, we were going to be ready. And the kids that were expected to lead, they were prepared and ready to lead on the next opportunity. So it was just poor coaching, man, and we got it fixed. I ain't telling you that won't happen again, because we don't always have our best days when we go out there and ask to perform. But I think the kids learned a lot in between those couple of weeks, and it's just different people, different team. 2019 is figuring out who we are.
And Coach, when I talk to people about this Springfield team, all of them, pretty much every one of them say, you guys are really solid on defense. You got a lot of kids back that started on that side of the ball last year. We talked about your leaders on your offensive line. Who would you probably tab as your leaders on that defensive side of the ball?
We got a couple linebackers that's played a lot of football, inside linebackers, Mikey, Neal, and Yunel Rodriguez. Both of those kids are actually selected captains by their peers, so that's how we pick the captains. We let the boys pick. But Mikey's played for 3 years. He started in the playoffs as a sophomore, and he's been playing ever since. And Yunel played last year. So I just mentioned that to tell you the number of games they played and experiences with that. But you also got Christian Trujillo. He's an outside linebacker. That's 3. We only got 8 seniors, so that's 3 of our 8 seniors that are in our linebacking core. So strong unit out there. But you got Trace play some defense for us, Stiltner play some defensive line for us. Cavante plays a lot of defense. So we're asking some others like Kel Jones to step up and take some of it off. But our linebacking core is a strong point for sure. But we got a lot of kids that are out. They may be playing a different position, but they played a lot of football in the past.
Right.
Well, Coach, you got an undefeated White House Heritage coming over tonight, and they're led by senior Parker Deaton. He's averaging 150 games a yard rushing. I'm assuming those linebackers you were just talking about, I'm sure they're chomping at the bit to get a hold of Parker, and I'm assuming he's a priority 1 for you guys tonight.
Absolutely, we've got a tackle. They got two kids, Parker and a Mapes kid. That can run the ball well, and they run it physical. It's different when you watch film, when you don't have a common opponent, when you're talking about speed or what type of athletes they are. But it is for certain that they are physical football players, and they look like they love playing the game, and they run hard throughout the game. So that tackling is important, as it always is. But it's a pretty big deal to teach that these days with your restrictions and what they put you at practice, and also our dynamic. We don't have a lot of seniors right now, so you've got to get some good quality reps when you got the opportunity. But yes, sir, you said it right when you talk about Parker, and he's a priority. He's definitely their guy. So he's been tabbed as that, and Springfield's got to tackle their guy tonight.
We're talking to Springfield football coach Dustin Wilson here on a Friday Main Event. Coach, when we looked at Region 5 in the preseason, we kind of felt like it's probably going to be you and Creekwood, you guys in Creekwood in a dogfight at 1. But, man, if you look at the region as a whole, I know White House, Central, Heritage, all these guys have gotten off to solid starts. Which one of these teams did you guys feel heading into the season were probably going to be the biggest threat to you? Or are you surprised at how well the entire region has gotten off to a good start?
I know I ain't gonna be popular after this pick, but man, I worry about Springfield more than I worry about anybody else. So
that's
the
politically correct answer. I don't.
Sure. And I have to pick them out and fill out all that stuff for Murphy and do for polls and all that. So you talk about people that's got kids coming back. Creekwood has definitely been talked about, and you got White House that's got to change the leadership, so you never really know what's coming with that. You got Portland that's got one of the better athletes, football players that gets the ball snapped to him every time. He's a good quarterback, which he's a running back at quarterback in my opinion, but they're still doing the right thing up here. With Coach Kavanaugh and Coach Nelson, they do good. And, Heritage looks like they're off to a good start, obviously seeing it. But regardless, a bunch of good dudes that are leading those teams. And we sit down at Larry's in Springfield for our preseason meeting. And when you just sit around and talk to them, they all got good leadership. So it doesn't surprise me at all that all of us are starting off good. And, we'll see how it works. But in all seriousness, this week's Heritage, all that stuff's for the kids and get them fired up and who we're playing next. But we want to make the playoffs. Heritage is the next one in front of that, so that's what we've been focusing on.
Well, Coach Wilson, Lee and I, man, we really appreciate you jumping on with us, taking the time out of your day. Best of luck to you, man. Hopefully we'll be able to see you on down the road somewhere this year.
Yeah, y'all come on this side of Nashville sometime. Come up here and see us and come up here and see the stadium and stuff, and we'll treat you with the best hospitality we can, and I'll be glad to have y'all, and thank y'all for sharing our brand here at Springfield High School for a moment this evening.
That sounds like a plan, Coach. Good luck to you, brother, and it's good talking to you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Lee. That was Coach Dustin Wilson, Springfield head coach. We appreciate him jumping on with us. Man, he's down to earth, and I love that about him.
That's right.
He's a fun to talk to, pleasure to talk to, and I haven't seen anybody more passionate about their program, and I think you'd agree with that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
He's all Springfield. Well, Lee, let's go ahead and take another break here, and we'll get our next head coach, and that is he may be a little late, but hopefully Coach Eli Stephenson will be here when we get out of break. Mike Molder and Lee Teat will be back after this. CoachT.com and hope you guys appreciate them as much as we do. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a minute about our title sponsor, CoachT.com. We appreciate Jim Thompson and all the guys over at Coach T joining up with us. We'll be partnered with them for the second consecutive year. So Friday Main Event, we're honored to be associated with such a great website. If you're into high school sports, whether you play, you have a child that plays, or just an ordinary fan, CoachT.com is a place you need to check out. And it's not just football. I mean, football is probably the biggest reason people visit CoachT.com. But if you have a kid into any other sport, softball, baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, if it's a high school sport, most likely you're going to find some information on CoachT.com. But what I want to talk to you about in particular is the Coach T Plus membership, which I happen to be a part of. For the second year in a row, the Coach T Plus membership will be donation-based. So you decide what Coach T is worth to you. That's what's so great about the website. You can make as much commitment to the website as you feel comfortable with. Now, myself, I'm on the website, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. So, I feel like I owe it to the website and I owe it to Coach T to make a nice donation, and hopefully you guys will feel that commitment as well. We do want to keep the website running. Many of us get a lot of enjoyment out of the website, but the Plus membership, you get access to certain boards that you don't have as just a regular member of Coach T. So that's one reason to join the Plus membership. Another reason is you're kind of the captain of your team. You're in charge of the scheduling, or I should say the correction. If there's any corrections need to be made to schedules, any corrections need to be made to the scores that are reported, you have the ability to do that. And that's what the Coach T Plus membership, it kind of provides you a certain degree of ownership into the website. So please check it out, man. It's on the front page. You go to the home page, again, CoachT.com. There's a tab right there where you can click and become a Coach T Plus member. And just because you are now, don't assume you are forever. That is a one-year membership, so you need to double check, make sure your membership has not expired. Again, from the Friday Man event, we appreciate CoachT.com and hope you guys appreciate them as much as we do. All right, Lee Teat, we are back here, Eagleville, Tennessee, Friday Man event. Mike Molder and Lee Teat every Friday, 4:30. Lee, you never know where we're going to show up at.
4:30 to 6:30, and we have a ball doing it. And heck, we just had a couple buddies of ours out here talking to us in the break.
Yep, Corey Wheeler.
Yep.
I think his daughter's a cheerleader over here, isn't she?
He's got a son over here that goes to school. I think is in elementary or junior high. I think elementary still, but
yeah.
Hey man, anytime we show up at wherever y'all are, come on by.
Yeah, come talk to us, man. That's probably our favorite part of it, meeting the other fans. And if you're a Coach T member, you can identify us with your Coach T handle. We like that. We enjoy meeting, putting a face to a name on Coach T. And I mentioned Coach T because Lee, Coach T, as you've seen by the commercials, is our title sponsor. Again, well, not title sponsor, but our main sponsor. Right. And we appreciate Jim Thompson and that bunch. I couldn't think of a better organization to be tied to than Coach T. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that website.
Me too.
It's a ride, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of good information on there. A lot of media people kind of, in the past, have wanted to give me a hard time. Really? Your reference was Coach T? But I'm telling you, man, these guys on Coach T, they know what's going on.
Well, they're around their programs.
Yeah, exactly. And you can really you may not want to read too much into what an Eagleville fan says about an Eagleville football team as far as how good they're going to be, but a Forrest fan will tell you, hey, that Eagleville squad looked pretty good in the scrimmage.
That's right.
And you can take that to the bank because they're not gonna brag on an opposing team, unless it's legit. And I found that's one way I found out how Gallatin was going to be pretty good this year. Had a lot of folks, up in that area.
Speaking of Gallatin, what about that tailback performance?
Wow, what was it 313 yards?
266, 313 all-purpose.
Okay, yeah.
Big ball game, man.
Crazy. And then we're still waiting on Forrest head coach, by the way. Coach Stephenson said that will probably be 5:20 before they get over here, Lee. So we'll fill in till he gets here. I'll tell you one game, man. I don't think you had a chance to listen to it last night. I was planning on heading over there, but I didn't make it over there. But that was Marshall County and Tullahoma, a big Region 4 battle at Tullahoma last night. A little shocked by that one. I felt like Marshall County would win that, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it by that margin. Did you?
No. Is that Marshall County?
No, it was at
Tullahoma.
At Tullahoma.
Yeah, that did surprise me at 30-6. I guess from sources there was a couple turnovers maybe that the score might not be as lopsided as you really think, but the turnover battle got Tullahoma, I heard.
I think Coach Olive may have sensed, based on, and I'm totally, this is guessing, I haven't heard from anybody, but may have sensed that they may have been a little outmatched, and I say that because they opened the game with an onside kick, which they failed to recover. So, anytime I think you're going to gimmicks that early in the game, that you're in a position where you probably got to make something happen.
Right.
And it kind of proved out that way Marshall County's really stout. Got a lot of team speed, and so I think we got the coach here. Coach, let me flip to a commercial, brother, and we'll get you mic'd up here. All right, Friday main event. We'll be back right after this. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. I mean, they do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now. 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online. Again, 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday main event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, I mean, they're great. We've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday main event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, we are back here Friday main event. We've got Forrest head coach Eli Stephenson joining us now. Coach, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Had a good trip over here.
Long drive, wasn't it?
Long drive. It's like a second home game to us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking forward to it tonight. Kids, we love this game right here. It's a rival game. It's been close the past couple of years. We're just looking forward to it.
And, Coach, I think you coached under Coach Johns for a couple of years. You also coached under Kyle Shoulders there at Red Bowling Springs before coming to Forrest, two coaches I've got a lot of respect for. How were those guys different in their coaching styles, and which of them do you feel your style of coaching kind of resembles?
Both of them, they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle is more hands-on.
Right.
Kyle was hands-on. He let you do your thing, but he wanted to do it his way.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Johns, he gave you free reign to do about anything you wanted to,
mm-hmm.
especially when I coached under both of them. I coached defense,
mm-hmm.
and I was able to run the defense I wanted to, how I wanted to, and that gave me a lot of leeway, and that helped me out in the future. Now I'm on the offensive side of the ball, and I learned from last year I got to give up reins of the defense.
Right.
And this year's been a whole lot better. More not stress this year for me.
I think if you can facilitate,
yes,
as a head coach, that pays dividends.
Yes, sir, it does.
Well, Coach, the first Forrest team you were a part of in 2016 was, I think, the only team ever to reach the quarterfinals. Do you see any similarities between that team and this one?
Yes, sir. We got great leadership, senior leadership this year. That is the biggest difference that we have. We've had some growing pains here.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been aggressive style kids here,
right?
But now we're doing it in between the whistle, and
right.
that's paid off dividends for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, you guys beat what I felt was a pretty solid Portland team, a 4A squad last week. Of course, you had that opening week one victory over East Robertson, another team that people thought was going to be pretty solid this year. What have you learned about this Rocket team so far, and what areas do you feel like you guys have got to get better at, if you're going to reach that next level?
What I've learned, this team's aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
They love contact. We have about 40 kids this year, but we probably got about 20 kids that want to play, and they're here, and they love contact. They love hitting each other. Mm-hmm. They love hitting each other during the week. Especially they love coming out on Friday nights and being physical. And one thing I learned from the Portland game is our off-season program paid dividends for us. We was able to win in the fourth quarter, and that showed a lot to the kids' work ethic. Right. And was able to dominate that fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, you got an excellent two-way player there, Nick McClendon. We've already heard, through the vine, a mention of Mr. Football candidacy potentially. He had nearly 200 yards rushing last week with 4 touchdowns. Uh, Assuming he plays at the next level, what side of the ball would you expect him on?
I expect him if he played in the next level defense.
Right.
Defense would be his side of the ball. He does a great job of reading. He's a student of the game, and he can fly around and make plays for us. We moved it back to secondary this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's never played it before, and it made us look really good.
Right. Made you look smart, huh?
Yes, it made us look really smart.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
This is the second McClendon I've been able to coach since I've been here,
Mm-hmm.
and we got another one coming up.
Oh,
Looking forward to that.
There you go. You get that, especially these small schools, when you get those families feeding into the program, that's always a good thing. You're already familiar with the parents, so that helps a lot. Mike Molder and Lee Teat talking Rocket football here with head coach Eli Stephenson on the Friday Night event. Coach Max Kirby, your quarterback, he's another two-way player, been pretty impressive so far. Talk a minute about Max's production so far this year.
Yes, Max. This is his first year playing both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he started free safety for us.
Okay.
And it slowed the game down for him to come over to the offense.
Right.
He does a great job of coming up and running my offense.
Okay.
He comes out. He tells us what's there. He's able to check some at the line for us and to get us in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a student of the game too, and very smart kid, and he's more of a wing T quarterback.
So he's got the options to check out of plays?
He does. We check some plays at the line.
That's good. I like to see that in high school.
And I felt like he could do it. He can do it during practice. He can do it in the game.
Yeah,
so.
I never understood a lot of those coaches that they'll, you run the play we send in, Well, he gets up and he sees 7 guys fixing the blitz, I like the fact that you guys trust him enough to option out of that.
And that shows a lot to his film study too.
Right.
And practice habits that during the game he can take it from practice and do it in the game.
Right.
Well, Coach, you guys are facing an Eagleville team tonight that's also undefeated. And this game's been decided by 1 point the last 2 years. Do you foresee a tight ball game tonight?
Yes, sir. It's always going to be a tight ball game with Eagleville. It's a rival game.
All right.
The past couple of years, we've been able to win offense and defense. We got beaten in special teams the past couple of years.
Right.
And that's one thing we've been preaching this week. Rival game, and we got to win all 3 phases of the game. That is the key for us. Special team is probably the biggest one. That's momentum.
Right.
And I feel if we win that, it'll carry over to the other 2 phases, and we'll be all right.
Well, I got to watch them in a 3-way scrimmage they had over at Cascade, them in Richland, and I felt like they looked pretty good up front. I hadn't had the opportunity to see you guys yet. I'm sure you watched film on them. Do you think, how do you feel the matchup up front is going to go? You guys pretty competent?
I think we're pretty even up front.
Okay.
I think we may have them a little bit in the skill position.
Mm.
They have a great receiver, 21.
Oh, yeah.
He's a playmaker.
Right.
And their quarterback, he's shifty and he can throw enough just to hurt you a little bit. And that's I think we're even up front. I think we got them a little bit in the skill position.
Well, Coach, you kind of mentioned this earlier. You'd always been, a defensive background. Now you switched over to the offense. How involved are you with Coach Delk in the defense? You pretty much give that totally over to him now?
Oh, I still coach the D-line.
Okay.
I can't give up the D-line. I've gave him more reign of calling the plays, especially on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I coach a position, and I allow him to call the plays, put the game plan in,
right.
and roll from there.
Okay.
Well, speaking of defense, speak a little bit about your leadership on that side of the ball.
We got 8 returning starters.
Right.
That's the big thing on defense for us. We got a lot of kids that has got a lot of reps. Our linebacking core is really good this year, and our secondary is probably the strongest since I've been here. They have a lot of reps. McCown at corner, Vilzon at corner. I think they started the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby's it's going to be a 2-year starter. McClendon is a 4-year starter in the secondary.
Right.
And you got Blaze Swinney and Noah Hill in the middle. This is second year starting for them.
Okay.
And they do a great job of flying to the football.
Right.
Joe Burton and we got newcomer McAllister Wilson.
Okay.
They set the edge, don't let anything get outside of them, and funnel it in back to the inside players, and they football. Our D line is probably they ain't the young pups, but they ain't had as many reps as the other kids.
Right.
With Batan, Garvin, Sammy. Sammy's the only 2-year starter on defense, and Aiden Freeman comes in and relieves them a little bit. But we have a lot of depth. One thing we preach is fast and physical. We want to get to the ball.
Right.
We want 11 hats to the ball, and we've done that this year.
Well, Coach, looking at Region 5, and I know you need to go. I don't want to hold you up much longer, but we felt you guys, Lewis County, Eagleville, would probably compete for that region title. It's kind of looked to be playing out that way so far, but you look at Loretta, you look at Summertown, each had wins over Wayne County and Community with a win over Cornersville, impressive win there. Any thoughts on the rest of the region as a whole, or you still see, is it top heavy or?
Right now, I'm looking at one game at a time. I'm looking at Eagleville right now.
You guys are so politically correct with these answers.
But I won't say our region has got better from last year.
I agree.
Top to bottom.
Yes,
top to bottom.
Yes, top to bottom, they have got better, and that says a lot to the coaches in our region.
Right.
But right now, we're focused on Eagleville.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we can.
Thank y'all.
Hopefully we can hook up with you again for the year's up.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
Coach.
Good luck.
See y'all.
All right, Lee. Let's play this Forrest schedule here. All right, Lee.
Let me get situated.
Get situated a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Donovan gets here, I'll scoot over.
He'll probably stand us up. You know how he is.
Maybe not. I hope not.
All right, Lee.
Let's go with some big games.
Friday main event, brother. I'm Mike Molder, and he is Mr. Lee Teat, and we're ready to talk about the 25 biggest games, in our opinion, in the state for tonight. And, Lee, it's
My phone go there and on me, buddy.
Yeah, there's quite a few games of interest for me tonight. So we'll go ahead and start with the game that we had tabbed as our number 25, and that's over in East Tennessee, Lee, and that's Dobbins Bennett. The Indians now sitting at 2-0, 41-6 over Oak Ridge last week, and we talked about it in the preseason. Dobbins Bennett missed the playoffs for the first time in forever. I can't remember the last time they missed the playoffs. So we kind of wondered, if Coach Christian, how he was going to respond to that year two. But man, they've looked really good, haven't they?
Buddy, the first two ball games they have been rolling right along, and that win over Oak Ridge, 41-6, man, that kind of surprised me.
Got your attention, didn't it?
Got my attention. Last year I think talking about Dobbins Bennett versus Bearden here.
Right. I forgot to mention that. Bearden.
Bearden won this ball game last year close.
Right.
And it's at Bearden, but I think Dobbins Bennett has a little too much for them tonight.
And every game we talk about tonight, Lee, is breaking into region games.
That's right.
So every game we talk about will be a region rivalry. And if you look at this particular region here, Region 1, we kind of felt like Farragut and Science Hill would probably be 1-2. But, man, this Dobbins Bennett team and this start they've had has kind of made me, second guess that a little bit. They may be in the mix.
Well, them and Jefferson County.
Right, yeah. We just
Jefferson
talked
County.
about Spencer Riley's team won last night, right?
2-0.
That made them
3-0.
3-0,
Now they're
yeah.
3-0.
Yeah, they
So
played last night.
Is this Region 1 6A flipping?
I don't know, brother. It's I like it though.
Me too.
I like it.
Brings a little bit of I don't know what do you call that, little competitiveness to it. It's not top heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Who you like?
I like the Indians. 56% of our Friday main event followers on Twitter. Of course, you can follow us at Tennessee Sports on Twitter. 56% of our followers there on Twitter like Dobbins Bennett, and I'm going to go with the Indians also.
Man, I'm going to go with Dobbins Bennett, but you remember what Coach Hunt said about Bearden? Said they might be a little underrated.
Yeah.
So I don't expect this to be a
Well, you
41
remember
to 6.
Ironside had what was it, around 300 yards
Right.
that first week.
So I don't expect this to be 41-6.
Right,
But I
right.
do expect Donovan Bennett to get it done.
Because they were real close to Beard. Remember, despite
That's
the fact
correct.
they're 0-2, you got to look at who they lost to.
Yes.
They lost
West.
to Maryville and West. And
Yep.
West is a team everybody's been talking about. Is a really good team. So yeah, I don't want to read anything into that 0-2 record because they've had a tough schedule so far.
That's right.
Doesn't get any easier than that.
No. Well, that's why we play.
That's right. All right, Lee, let's move on over here in Middle Tennessee for our number 24 game, and that's Lincoln County travels over to Franklin County, and Matt McCurry's Rebels, 58% of the Friday Main Event followers on Twitter like the Rebels to win this one.
Well, since it's at home, Franklin County, Coach McCurry, he does a pretty good job over there, especially at the home field. Man, they were in a shootout last week with a new 6A squad, Rockville. But I like Dakota Wagner. I think he's probably the difference in this game. Lincoln County's gotten off to a pretty rough start, which surprises me.
Right.
It's a little bit of a surprise. I was kind of thinking Lincoln County was going to come out of the gate a little better.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Franklin County tonight.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. And you mentioned Dakota Wagner, Lee. We thought it was just a matter of time before he broke out. 213 yards, 5 TDs last week. And, of course, these two teams, talking about Rockville, they combined for over 100 points.
Right.
So what a fun game I'm sure that was to watch. Yeah, Tim Johnson's squad, Lee, I think you and I thought they were going to be competing, and they still may. We're still very early. We haven't even played our first region game yet, so let's not mail the Falcons in yet.
No, I'm not.
But I like Franklin County. The only thing that kind of worries me a little bit is the fact that they gave up 47 points. So although they seem to be clicking on offense, that's not good, when your defense gives up that many points, especially to a young, new program.
Right.
So who you like?
I'm going to go Franklin County.
I'm going to go with you, Lee. I'm going to go Franklin County as well. But I think this game could potentially be close, though.
Right.
It always is. These
Yep.
two teams, as a matter of fact, Lincoln County has beaten Matt McCurry 2 years in a row,
That's
and
right.
that game is kept him out of the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Well, that's kind of what has me leaning towards Franklin County. I think he's had enough.
Got a little vengeance on his mind. All right, Lee. Our number 23 game is Cornersville and Moore County. And Cornersville, another squad, much like Lincoln County. They've gotten off to an 0-2 start, and everybody tells me it's been an issue with a lot of turnovers. So
yes.
You got to think Coach Randolph is going to get that straightened out eventually. I wonder if it's against Moore County tonight.
Man, I don't know, buddy. It's at Moore County.
Right.
And I think, Coach Dobbs has started off the season here. What is he, 2-0?
2-0 with wins over Community and Cascade, two programs that are struggling right now.
That's
so
right.
I don't, how much do you want to read into that 2-0
That's
start?
true. That's true. I think Coach Dobbs, though, may have a little bit too much up front. Bryson, his son, there's a really good ball player, a preseason All-Stater. And then he's got Dylan Scruggs. And Case Quarter's a really good offensive lineman there. I think Moore County, obviously they're going to try to pound it and keep the ball out of Cornersville hands.
Right.
And it's at home. I think Moore County wins this, but I think it's a squeaker.
Well, if you look at common opponents, of course, Community beat Cornersville there in Week 1. Last week, of course, Moore County manhandled Community 43-12.
Right.
So if you want to look at that aspect of it, I think you just about got to pick Moore County tonight. All right, Mr. Teat. Moving on along, we have our number 22 game on the docket of the Friday Main Event Super 25. You go to FridayMainEvent.com every week, Lee, and I should have that up hopefully by tomorrow, maybe Sunday, but we'll have our Super 25 for next week. So check us out at FridayMainEvent.com so you can kind of get a little foresight into what Lee and pick the games.
Yeah.
I love that, man, because this game here, White House Springfield, we just talked to Coach Dustin Wilson, 72% of our followers, Lee, like Springfield.
Well, I was kind of, picking my buddy Trevor. He's from up in that area, lives over in the Greenbrier, White House, Springfield. He's in that area up there. And talked to him a little bit about this game, and because we both know Coach Dickerson, Stetson Dickerson, who was the OC at Greenbrier under Kirk Williams when they were a pretty good program back then.
Right.
And he says that White House Heritage is getting better. This will be the second year I think under Coach Dickerson.
Right.
They're getting better, and they're starting to get some players. And Deaton we've already talked about, but I think Dustin, being 7 years there at Springfield, he's got his program established and he's at home.
Right.
I like the Yellow Jackets.
I do too. Now, of course, Heritage has got wins over East Robertson and Middle Tennessee Christian, but I think that's a couple of programs that are struggling, so I don't want to read too much into that.
That's right.
2-0 start in Springfield, like you mentioned, Wilson Central, and I told you, if you'll remember, Wilson Central is going to be a sleeper.
That's right.
In 6A, so and Coach. I think Coach Wilson mentioned his team had a lot of turnovers, come out real flat week 1.
That's right.
I think this game gets ugly.
I'll tell you what, Mapes, running back up there at White House Heritage too, he's a pretty good little ball player. So I really, to be honest with you, Mike, I think White House Heritage comes out and tries to just keep it on the ground and shorten the game. So I don't know how out of control it'll get, but I do like Springfield by probably 14 or better.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. Lee, our number 21 game, this is this Region 7, man, is just loaded. I mean, absolutely loaded. And McNary Central travels to Westview. Matt McConnell got a stud quarterback up there. Ty Simpson, only a sophomore, Lee, but he's a real deal. He's already got offers from Tennessee, LSU, Michigan. Exactly. So, but McNary Central is looked really good to start the season. Had a win over a solid Hardin County team. What's your thoughts on this game here?
Well, we both love Matt McConnell when he was at Waverly.
Right.
Like what he does. And anytime you got a quarterback like Simpson, boy, that helps you in the spread. He's an athlete. He's an athlete. He can run. He can throw. You can RPO. McNary Central won this game 41-0 last year.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but I tell you what, I kind of think it flips this year. I like Westview at home. I think it's going to be another tight ball game. It's a region game.
Yep.
We'll both want to get that under the belt. But I'm going to go Westview, probably 7.
So Westview is 41 points better than they were last year against McNary.
Well, I don't know.
And McNary's got 7 kids back on offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go Westview.
Including Cole Kirk, their senior quarterback. Got a senior quarterback.
That's true.
I'm just trying to double check you now, make sure you see everything.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I'm going to go Westview.
This is a tough one, Lee. I struggle with this one probably more than any of them. I'm with you. I like Matt McConnell, and they beat a good Gibson County team 45-7 last week.
Right.
They beat a good Dresden team in week 1, so I like the resume heading into this one. Our fan base likes them, 56%. I really want to pull the trigger and go the other way. I like senior quarterback. Now, I understand Simpson is a stud, but he's still a sophomore,
Well, the only thing, man, you know how Coach McConnell is.
Yeah.
And I think he was able to get in there and get his system in.
Right.
And it says a lot. A quarterback's got offers from that many schools. Got to be a pretty high IQ kid.
Yeah.
But
all right, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go McNary Central.
McNary.
I'm gonna go that way just because this game for me is a coin flip.
I got you.
It's a coin flip, so just to add a little drama to our results, so you can call me and give me hell tonight, or I can call you.
Right.
One of us will have bragging rights.
That's right.
All right, Lee. Well, we'll split on that one. I think that's the first one we split on, isn't it?
It is.
All right. So, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Westview win this one. I mean, they are at home. Riverdale and Cookeville lead. This is our number 20 game. This is a Region 3 region opener for both of these teams. Our fan base is high on Will Kreisky and the Riverdale Warriors. 83% like Riverdale to win this one. What's your thoughts on this one?
I think Riverdale wins. Typically, this is a tight ball game during the season.
Yep.
I think Coach Maynard right now struggling a little bit, which is unusual for him. I know it's driving him crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably what's happening right now, with Cookeville, is personnel-wise trying to match
Figuring them out.
Well, trying to match up with Rutherford County teams.
Right.
He's in this RUCO region over here, and then now you've got a really good Livingston squad, and just right up the road in Overton County, and a phenomenal Upperman squad,
Right.
which is right down the road from Cookeville.
Right.
His talent, is kind of getting split up a little bit. But I like Riverdale. I think Taylor Yancey has grown up. He started, I think, as a sophomore.
Yep.
And back in the spring when I talked to Coach Maynard, that's one person of the whole region. That was the one kid he mentioned was Yancey. He said he's probably going to be lights out this year, and seems like he has played that way.
Well, this is his third year starting there at Riverdale, so that's invaluable having a quarterback with that much experience. Then they got Gaston Haney and one of the best front sevens, I think.
They're good, buddy.
They're really good on defense, so you're not going to score a lot of points, as evidenced by Franklin being held to 10 last week. I'm with you. I like Riverdale on the road to win this one, but for some reason this game seems to be real close every year, so it wouldn't surprise me, if this game's closer than what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go with Riverdale Warriors. Lee, our number 19 game, we've got Giles County, David O'Connor's Bobcats sitting at 1-1. Took one on the chin last week to a very good Hendersonville squad who had gotten steamrolled by Oakland in week 1.
Yes, sir.
So they were ready to play. They were fired up. They were wanting to, they was wanting to hit, no doubt. So, and Giles County is a 3A versus a 6A, so don't read too much into that.
That's right.
I mean, Hendersonville should have won that game.
Sure.
And then East Nashville, Lee. Again, this is a region opener for both of these teams. East Nashville team, we're really high on.
Buddy, they ain't gave up a point all year.
That's crazy, isn't it?
2 games, they've given up no points. I like East Nashville. I think they got way too much talent tonight. They're loaded with athletes. Everybody I've talked to, our buddy Elliott there, he's talked to me a little bit about it. I like East Nashville to run away with, to be honest.
If this game was at Giles County, I would at least give them a chance. They're very hard to beat at home.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they got to travel to Nashville, Brian Waite's team is playing lights out. Like you said, 17-0 over Maplewood, shut Smyrna out in week 1.
Big, too.
Big time, exactly.
You know what? You talking about this East Nashville. Metro has come on.
Yeah, they have.
Pearl, Stratford, East Nashville, Cane Ridge.
Cane Ridge is going to be there.
At the end.
Yeah, they've got a lot of injuries. I talked
right.
to Eddie Woods on the phone last week. When he gets healthy, that's a team you're not going to want to run into.
Yeah, these Metro teams is for real.
Absolutely.
They're going to be in the mix there towards quarterfinals, semifinals. You're going to see them.
I think so too, Lee. So we're both going East Nashville in this one?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Teat, we're blowing through these pretty good here. Number 18, Lake County at Dresden. This is a big Region 7 1A matchup. And, Josh Puckett's Falcon squad, they've been playing really good. Beat a good Crockett team, 26-21.
Right.
They beat our buddy Darren Bowling's Union City squad in week 1. Beat them pretty handily. What do you think happens here in Dresden? Of course, Dresden won this game 60-40 last year.
That's right. I fully expect this to be a high-scoring affair again.
Yeah.
I do. Does Lake County go and avenge that a road loss? Or they'll get a road win against Dresden like Dresden did to them last year.
Right.
I'm sure that's playing in a little bit. The one thing that concerns me a little bit about this game, 59%, right?
59% of the fan base for Friday Main Event on Twitter like Lake County.
Right. Well, Lake County, though, their first 2 ball games have been against a physical Crockett County and a physical Union City.
Mm-hmm.
Can they keep up that pace tonight on the road after playing 2 physical squads week after week in early?
Well,
can they?
Yeah, I think so. And the reason why I say that, they got 16 starters back on that team that run to the semifinals last year. I think they made the semifinals 2 years in a row, if I remember right, Lee. So they're veteran, they're seasoned. You're not gonna. If there's any adversity early in the game, they're not gonna fold.
Right.
So I think having that veteran quality about a team, especially at the 1A level, I think that's going to bode well for them this season, and in particular this game against Dresden. They really want to win against Dresden. They thought they were better than Dresden last year.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna go Lake County. Even though I have some questions, like I said, some things I was thinking about during the week on those 2 first ball games being kind of physical on them. But
right.
I think maybe what gets them over the top tonight is Tanner Snyder. He's a preseason All-State.
Yeah,
senior quarterback, and we like that.
Right.
And then a senior tailback in Tubbs.
Right.
That's what kind of leaning me towards Lake County. But to me, this is really one of them flip toss games to me too.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a good game, no doubt. But I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee sports fan base on Twitter. I like them. Our buddy Bronson Bradley down at Mount Pleasant, they have their opener against a new friend of the show, Nick Patterson. We had Coach Patterson on with us during the spring. I really enjoyed my conversation with him. He's a good, down-to-earth guy. Obviously, he's a good coach. He was under Bobby Sharp down there.
Oh, yeah.
At Lewis County forever. So, the guy knows how to coach. He's got a good pedigree, coaching pedigree. He also, I think he said he was under Coach Rankin. Is that correct? I want to say he coached under Coach. I wouldn't swear to that. But maybe played for Coach Rankin.
Right.
Maybe that's what it was. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But at any rate, I think this game, last year, nobody really gave Richland a chance. And but this year they've got 17 starters, Lee. These kids played last year. I like Richland. I don't know if I like them in this game or not.
I like Richland.
You like Richland?
I'm going Richland at home.
Wow. That's the first. Yeah, I like that.
I am.
Mount Pleasant's got 70% of the votes for the Tennessee sports, and Bronson Bradley, just for the simple fact that he can probably bench press about twice what I can. I think I'm going to stay with the Tigers.
Well, I'm going to go Richland. I think Coach Patterson needs a signature win. He can get it tonight, first game of the region at home. And like you said, he's coached for Coach Sharp, Lewis County down there. He knows how to coach. But, looking at this on paper and tradition, obvious choice would be Mount Pleasant. I think there's this, to me, some things that are factoring in here maybe not everybody's looking at.
It's not that big a reach. It's not that big a reach.
Yeah.
He feels like they can compete for the region title. And I talked to him after they had already lost Sam Edwards, who they expected to be the starting quarterback this year. He's out. Peyton Sharp, the freshman's come in. He's getting more experience every week, Lee. He's a big kid. Looked really good in that scrimmage I saw him at. So the more time he gets under his belt, under center, they're going to get better. They're going to get better, and they're going to get better. But I think Mount Pleasant with the veteran squad, 18 starters back off a team that was 8-4 last year.
That's right.
I got to go with the Tigers. But I think it'll be a good game. All right, brother. I like it. I like your pick, though. Gibbs at South Doyle. South Doyle, man, this may be the most impressive squad over in East Tennessee now, Lee. Of course, they beat the brakes off of Grace Christian last week, 61-7, and then they beat our buddy Rob Black over at Fulton, beat them pretty soundly in week 1. What's your thoughts on this game?
I think South Doyle by a lot.
South Doyle by a lot.
I do. That's at home, opening region play at home. And, man, Elijah Young is just a special player.
Oh, man, I want to see him.
He gets kind of all the hype, but he should. He is a super phenomenal special player. If you're up in that area, you should go check the kid out. He's ridiculous. But Mason Brang,
I knew he was going to say that.
Three-year starter as a senior this year, and I think that's you got to have that. And then of course they got Jordan Wilson there, offensive lineman, helping spring all these cats. But I think South Doyle is going. This is the year for them, maybe.
19 kids back, starters back on this team that went 7-4, 5-1 in region play last year, Lee, and they've been really impressive. And I'm with you, brother. I think this is a huge South. This may be a statement game for Clark Duncan's bunch tonight.
I think so.
All right, so we're both going with South Doyle. Number 15 game, Lee Teat. I'm still looking for a buddy Donovan. I haven't seen him yet. Still don't see him. Franklin and Ravenwood, Lee Teat. I'm gonna give the fans a view of this field here. See what we're seeing over here. Get the field in great shape over here.
Oh yeah, Eagleville's a pretty community. You know it.
Yeah, it is, man. That's
nice out here.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Quiet.
It's natural grass, and I love that. But Floyd Walker's bunch have done a really good job with the field, and I think it's going to be a good game tonight. We're going to talk about that game later, but That's a shot of the field. That's what Lee and I are seeing out behind us here. It'll be a good game over here.
I think so.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Teat, why don't we take a quick break and
I need to get a drink of water.
let you get a drink of water.
Yes,
I was rude and drink on set, so we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back right after this. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a new sponsor who joined us this season, Elaborate Images. Marcia and her husband, Sheldon, they've been in business since 2007. They've got thousands of customers across Middle Tennessee now. They are located right here in Unionville, close to where I live, actually. But Marcia does a phenomenal job. Everything we've got from them, hats, T-shirts, sweatshirts. They even designed the banner we use now. I mean, they do excellent work. It's top quality work. All the merchandise that they use is top notch. You're not going to get the cheap stuff you get at a lot of the online websites I used to use. So I'd strongly suggest you check out Elaborate Images, and again, go to elaborateimages.com. Ask for Marcia. They've got a phone number contact there. Matter of fact, I'll give you that number now. 931-703-5410 is how you can get in touch with her if you don't want to go online. Again, 931-703-5410. That's Elaborate Images. They've got all the Friday main event apparel already set up, and you can tell her what you want from us. Or if you just want to go out on your own and get something designed for your business, I mean, they're great. We've been using them for a couple of years now. She decided to be a sponsor of the Friday main event this year, and we're very grateful to have them on board. So check them out, elaborateimages.com. All right, we are back here on the Friday main event. I kind of hit the panic button there, Lee. I thought we wasn't streaming. I pulled it up on my phone here, and it wasn't showing us streaming. I was like, good Lord Almighty, surely we ain't been here an hour and a half talking to ourselves the whole time.
Oh, me.
But we are the Friday main event. I am Mike Molder, and he is Lee Teat, and I think Donovan Stewart's been a no-show so far, so I might have to get on him a little bit.
We'll see him later. We'll get him in a headlock.
Yeah, stretch him out, skin his head. Yeah, we think a lot of Donovan. Matter of fact, 90% of the information we're getting for this show we get from Donovan. He does an excellent job there at Tennessee High School.
Oh, yeah, statistic-wise?
Yeah. Yeah, he's at TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com.
That's right.
Of course, that's Chad Withrow's website. Donovan, the main contributor to the website. But Donovan does a great job, and Lee and I are really happy to have him as a good friend. And hopefully he gets over here in a little bit and joins us. All right, Lee, we are at game number 15, Franklin at Ravenwood. Donnie Webb's Rebels they've had a tough loss to Riverdale, and we talked about how good Riverdale was. I think you remember last week I was kind of wondering about Josh Nichols, so I hollered at Coach this week to find out what was going on. They've actually moved him out to receiver.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why we hadn't seen him at the quarterback spot. Guy Lipscomb has been playing. I think he may be more of a dual threat.
I got you.
I think matter of fact, I believe he leads them in rushing, but I'm not sure about that. So I think maybe they felt, that give them a few more options having Lipscomb out there at quarterback, and of course Nichols. I think he was originally a wide receiver anyway, so they had him at quarterback last year. I think more out of necessity than anything.
Right.
So he's back at his normal spot. But they take on a good team that you and I saw last week, Matt Daniels' Ravenwood team. Man, I was really impressed with them. That was two good ball teams over there last week.
Oh, a ton of talent on the field the other night. I'll tell you what, man. Coach Hartfield, he had a pretty good game plan together.
He did.
Played them tight.
Yep.
I like Ravenwood tonight. I think to get back on track, it's a across the street game. They don't, Franklin's come. Well, they're at home, but I mean Franklin's coming to them, so I think it'll be a good crowd there. I think Ravenwood tonight probably starts putting some points up.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too. Riverdale was able to hang 34 on Franklin last week. Ravenwood, like you said, Blackman kind of held them in check, especially there in the second half. So I think that offense opens up. I think Brian Garcia has a big game this week. Reggie Grimes, I didn't really see as much out of him as what I was expecting last week.
Well, the thing about Grimes is he makes plays when he needs to make the plays. You know, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time ball games.
Right.
And he'll make a big stop here and a big stop there. But what a lot of people miss with Reggie Grimes is he plays his position. You know, they don't go towards him a lot. I wouldn't.
Right.
You know, so sometimes that's kind of misleading numbers-wise, tackles-wise, because he does a very good job of playing his position the right way. He's not trying to chase guys down. Very disciplined ball player, I think.
Right.
You know, but, you know, a lot of guys are not going to go at him necessarily, but he does make plays when they count. And, you know, so sometimes that's like you said. You know, you can look at this guy's like #1 recruit. 5 tackles. Well, it's because they went 80 plays that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You
He
know,
probably draws a lot of double teams, triple teams when they do go his direction.
That's right. They're putting bodies on him. But hey, Ravenwood's got plenty of talent. So.
Oh yeah, they're eat up, man. I had that between them and Blackman. That's probably the most talent I've seen since some of the games we saw in Cookville last year.
That's right. I think you're right on that.
So Ravenwood wins big. You agree?
I do. I think they start putting points on the board tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Lee, over in Region 7, we talked about Region 7 a little bit in 3A earlier with Westview. Another big matchup over there tonight. Milan travels to South Gibson. South Gibson is 2-0. They beat Trinity Christian last week, beat Lexington in week 1. Now, this is a good Hornet squad, and some of their fans, they were hitting me up on Coach T this week. You know, they think
come on in
they
here.
think they're going to be the team. There's my man. Come on over here. We got Donovan coming in. We'll get his thoughts on this game. Come on in here, brother. Pull your chair on over. We'll line to see where you at on the camera here. Yeah, come on over this way. Just a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, Donovan, we've talked about 10 games so far, and we got into Region 7 3A. We talked about that Westview game. I think Lee and I split on that. I liked McNary, and Lee liked Westview. We'll kind of back up a little bit since we're talking about Region 7 now. What was your thoughts on that particular game?
The only reason that was actually one of my games of the week, and they've both been playing really good. I took Westview because they're a little bit better on defense, I think.
Pull that in just a little bit toward your mouth.
They both score a ton of points, but I think Westview is a little bit better on defense, so that's why I took them, and I think they're at home as well. So.
That's right.
Yeah, they are.
So there you go.
Well, I was kind of a coin toss on that one, and Lee went one way, so I said, "What the heck?" Well, one of us will get bragging rights, so I went the other way. Now I think this Region 7, man, you got to throw Covington in the mix as well. Obviously, Milan and South Gibson, that could be a very good game. What's your thoughts on that game tonight?
I think I actually went with Milan on the road, but I can definitely see South Gibson. Scott Steedham has done a great job over there. Of course, he started the program, so I think I think they can win that game. And the thing is, you're right. This region, just like the region, I think it's 7-2A that's got McKenzie and Peabody and all that. That's a brutal region, and yeah, this is a really good region, and it's one of those regions where there's never an off week.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, I'll go with South Gibson on that one.
Oh, you're going South Gibson?
Yeah.
What are you going with, Lee?
I'm going Milan.
You going Milan?
On the road.
I was kind of hung up on this one as well. I think Milan may have got, they had that tough loss to Peabody week 1, but I think they may have got things straightened out against Liberty last week. Beat them pretty bad, 31-6. And they were our preseason top 5. I'm not going to bail out on them this quick. I think that Peabody team is that good.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Milan. I'm gonna go against the expert over here. That was our number 14 game. Number 13, we're gonna head over to East Tennessee. Diamond, Maryville, Derek Hunt squad looking good. Really, again this year 2-0. They beat a good. I think what's probably going to wind up being a good Bearden team, 47-14. And then Marty Wheeler picks up his first win last week with a win over Hardin Valley. What's your thoughts on this game?
I mean, I think Marty is going to take him a season to kind of get everything straight. With that being said, I think Cleveland's going to be better, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't see him. I see Maryville winning tonight.
Lee, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I like Maryville to go over on the road. But I think Coach Wheeler, we've always said we feel like he's one of the best game planners.
Yeah.
Single game plan.
Right.
I like how he approaches the game, and I think tonight he'll try to keep the ball obviously on the ground, keep the clock rolling, and I don't really see this being just an absolute shellacking. I think this is going to be maybe a 14, 17-point ball game.
Well, what do you guys think about this region as a whole? Of course, this is a region opener, Region 2 opener for both of these teams. McMinn County's already off to 2-0 start. We felt like Bradley Central would probably be the closest competition for Maryville. What do you think about this region as a whole? Maryville going to run through it? Who likely is going to take maybe that other home spot, do you think, Donovan?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It's probably Bradley.
Uh-huh.
But I think with Marty
Ooltewah.
I think with Marty coming in at Cleveland, I think that that Cleveland automatically jumps up into that 4 and 5 discussion easily.
Yeah.
But I think this is a region where Maryville wins it, but it's going to be. I think their region games are going to be harder this year. And I could see them maybe in the future. I mean, obviously they're going to have to lose a region game at some point, sometime.
Right.
But I could see them losing a region game this year or possibly next year.
Wow, impressive. All right, so we all like Maryville in that one. Looking at, we'll stay in Class 6A. We'll move over to Region 1. Science Hill and Hardin Valley. Hardin Valley has got a loss. Of course, they lost to Cleveland last week. They did beat Oak Ridge in Week 1. Man, I don't know what's happened to Joe Gaddis's Oak Ridge team. And then Science Hill, Donovan, did you see them going 0-2 to start the season with Elizabethan and Davy Crockett both beating them pretty good?
The thing is, it's kind of like the whole deal with Blackman. Everybody wants to get down on them, but the thing is, look who they played.
Right.
David Crockett was a quarterfinal team last year, 5A, and of course, Elizabethan, was a quarterfinal 4A team.
Right.
So, and Stacy's done a good job up there, and they'll get it straight, and I think that's their first win is tonight. I think they're better than Hardin Valley. I think they've got a little bit more talent and athletes in Hardin Valley. So I would easily take Science Hill on the road.
Yeah. Lee?
I'm going to go Science Hill on the road as well. I think Coach Carter, we've said this over and over every game tonight, it's a region matchup. And
right.
I think the first 2 ball games, you're looking at your team, seeing what you got. You never want to lose a ball game, and now it starts counting.
Yeah.
And I think Coach Carter gets a win tonight.
61% of the Tennessee sports followers on Twitter like Science Hill tonight, and I'm going to go with them. I agree with you guys. I think the Hilltoppers win this one, possibly by as much as 10 points tonight. Yeah. Centennial and Independence, Williamson County matchup over and I think outside of Region 3, probably Region 6, maybe the toughest region year in and year out. I don't necessarily know that's true this year. I think there's a little bit of drop-off this year, but Scott Blade's team, of course, lost to Summit, which to me, Donovan, was a little bit of a shocker there in Week 1. They rebounded against CPA last week. And then you look at Matt Kreisky's Centennial team, knock off Smyrna. They lost to Ravenwood in Week 1. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, I think that's one of those. You're right. I mean, this is a tough region, and this is one of those that both these teams are pretty good. They're not outstanding, but they're both pretty good. And I think this is one of those deals where, you take Independence because it's at home, and it's one of those deals. It's probably a 3 to 6 point game. So
yeah.
I take Independence because they're at home. I mean, I think that's what it pretty much boils down to.
Lee,
man, I'm gonna go Indy at home as well. I like Chase Bishop. I think he's a good player, a good ball player, and then of course Ethan Cash there. But what about Desmond Smith, tailback for Centennial? Coach Kreisky, he always got a good tailback.
Yeah, 203 yards, 2
Wilson
touchdowns.
last year, now he's got Smith this year.
Appreciate that stat stuffers you put out every week, man. That's good stuff.
Yes, sir. I use it.
And we give you kudos, man. We appreciate all that stuff you do, man. You do a good job, and Lee and I appreciate it. We get a lot of information out of what you put out there on TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com. Is that correct?
I'm going to go Indy at home.
Indy at home. I'm going to go with you guys. Indy at home. 68% of the Tennessee sports fans agree and like the Eagles tonight.
I got a question, Donovan, quickly.
Uh-oh.
What's up with Smyrna?
I don't know, man.
I had
it's
them
been-
like under the radar. One of my
Yeah.
teams that was going to
Yeah.
kind of fly under the radar.
I did too, and I think this is a year that Cane Ridge has not been as good in that region, and I think this is a year that like that region's for the taking.
Right.
Mhm.
But you know, I mean, it is 2 games. You know, it's hard to. Now, if they're 0-5 at the midway point, that's one thing I think. But you know, you don't know. I mean, maybe 2 losses. They get it going. Maybe they're banged up. You know. Maybe
Yeah, I was wondering if
something's
you'd heard
there.
anything injury-wise or.
I mean, it's the thing that got me about them was the margins that they
Yeah.
get beat by. Like if they get beat by a point or 2, that's
Right.
one thing.
Right. It's
But
fixable.
getting beat 42-0 by East Nashville the first week, that was pretty eye-opening.
That was a shocker. I agree.
Well, I just had to ask.
Well,
man.
I mean, here's another interesting region to me, and that's Region 6 in Class 5A. Chad Watson, what a great job he's done there at Gallatin. Lee and I were up there week 1 against 11, man. Really impressed with the Green Wave. Take on the Hillsboro squad. I watched a little bit of huddle video on Hillsboro. Are they starting a freshman at QB, I think? Is that correct?
I think that's right.
So-
Yeah, they're banged up, and the thing is you know, Chad has really got the Green Wave faithful fired up and said all the right things, and they're playing really well right now. And the thing is, if they win tonight and Mount Juliet beats Lebanon and responds, you've got a 3-0 Gallatin at a 1-1 Mount Juliet next week. So that sets up a really good non-region game for both
Yep.
those teams. And,
Yep.
you know, Gallatin, I think Gallatin's kind of like a Notre Dame in college football. When they're good, college football is better.
Right.
When Gallatin's really good, I think it's a good thing for high school football.
Good for the sport, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, who do you like in this one?
Oh, I definitely take Gallatin.
Like Gallatin,
Yep.
Lee?
I like Gallatin.
I like Gallatin as well. Spencer Briggs had a huge game. We saw that in Donovan's article there. 313 yards, 14 on 14 carries, 22.4 yards a carry. I think it was a school record, was it not?
It was.
So,
Sorry, I'm over here watching my daughter go up in the bleachers.
Keep-
They're dressed up like a bunch of rednecks.
Oh,
Which
okay.
is in Eagleville. I was telling her, I think that's an everyday occurrence.
You
And
don't
the thing
change
is-
much, do you?
But right, and the thing is, they're playing Forrest, which is the perfect opponent because you know Chapel Hill's redneck. And Mike, I believe you get perfect over here.
Yeah, you're right. I'm down the road at Community, so yeah,
Oh, Lord.
I guess you could put that label on me as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, I'll tell you what, don't sleep on, you know, Hillsboro starts off slow every year.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Coach Fitzgerald, he gets them playing when it comes time, so maybe that's what's going on, but I like Gallatin.
Well, Gallatin got them last year, if
Yeah.
you remember. But if Gallatin had them in week 8, they would have run all over Gallatin, I think, last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and then also that region you got Beach
That's all, yeah.
in
Right.
that region, and yeah, and is Hillwood not in that region as well?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
believe that's right.
So those are 2 other really good teams, and the Beach Gallatin game. If they're both undefeated at
Oh,
that time,
man.
that's going to set up a huge game.
Dude,
Oh,
that'll be
yeah.
a standing room only.
We may have to go to that one. All right, I'm gonna go with you guys. I like Gallatin as well. I think they run the ball well tonight, and I look for the freshman quarterback in the big game setting. Maybe make a couple mistakes tonight. Huntland and Fayetteville. This is an interesting game right here. Donovan, I think Kenny Morrison turned out to be a really good hire for Fayetteville. You know, he spent the last 20 years down there in Decatur, Alabama, as an OC. Comes back up to Fayetteville, man. He's done a remarkable job. Beat a pretty good Marion County team, which you're familiar with.
He's recruited well. He's recruited well. Seriously, they've got some kids that came from Alabama, crossed over, and everything. He has, and the thing is, that's an interesting game because Cameron Reed at Huntland is a really good running back. So if they, you know, that's going to be an interesting game because I think he's really good. And of course, Bob does a good job over there, and that's an interesting first region game.
Pull that mic back up a little bit, sweetheart. You coming in low. There we go. I know everybody wants to hear what you got to say. Lee, what?
Oh,
you-
Lord.
you
the
the big-
jabs that are
I guess
getting
I was
thrown.
about to say, I guess that's payback for the redneck comment.
Yeah, the jabs that are getting
Oh, I ain't done yet. Just wait.
Oh, Lord.
All right, Lee. Huntland, Fayetteville, man. What do you like in this this game tonight?
Oh, man, I love Coach Robertson. We have a lot of fun with him every time he's on, but
Yeah.
I think Fayetteville at home tonight might be a little too much.
You don't think Kermit Reed can come up with a way to move the ball tonight? Is that
Well,
what you're
his
saying?
son will definitely.
No, that's
gonna
actually
get-
his nephew, I
or
think.
I'm sorry, his nephew, Cameron. Yeah, he going to get his.
Yeah.
He'll get his.
Yeah.
But I think Fayetteville tonight at home.
I got Fayetteville as well. I'm really impressed with Fayetteville. Josiah Clark has played really good at quarterback, moved over to quarterback. And then they had a kid, Romella Twitty. Did you know anything about him, Donovan? He had like 166 yards on 7 carries last week, 24 yards a carry.
Yes, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good average, ain't it?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Fayetteville gets it done tonight. I think it'll be a good game, though. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it's a good game. I'm with y'all. I think Fayetteville being at home.
Right.
I think that's a field goal difference right there, probably.
Yep, that's kind of the way I see it as well. Columbia and Summit, that's a Region 5, 5A matchup. 2 good games in Region 5 tonight. Of course, we'll talk about the Page game here in a minute. But Summit has been very impressive, man. I was kind of surprised by the Independence victory in Week 1. They run all over Spring Hill. Brian Coleman's doing a good job there at Summit, isn't he?
Columbia's better, obviously. They're better. Summit has done really well because they've changed offenses. They went from the wing T, and he's more of a spread. They've got some spread stuff
option.
with their wing T stuff, but the thing is, he's got a very good quarterback that can run it and can throw it, and that's why you've seen them come out of the gate really fast. And I hate to say it, they're at home.
Yeah.
So I think you take Summit at home. I think and the thing is, I think they win tonight, and that's a big statement in that region.
Yeah, George Odomegwu, he moved him to receiver this year. Coach Coleman told me that the colleges were more interested in him at that position. So I felt very unselfishly put Odomegwu out there, and then he moved Keaton Wade, who is Destin's twin brother, in, and he's the primary guy running the ball now.
That's right, tailbacking.
Yep.
I tell you what, Mike, I like Summit at home. I do. I think if you look at the common opponent, Spring Hill, Columbia beat them by 1.
Right.
That's Week 1. I get that.
Right.
But then Summit comes out there last week, puts a whooping up on Spring Hill.
Yeah.
And at home. And, buddy, Brian Coleman's field, you know what that thing's looking like
Oh,
tonight?
it's beautiful.
Man.
You've been over there at the Summits field.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Buddy,
really
that
nice.
thing's looking good, and I think they get it done.
Yeah, I like them too. Smith County and Upperman over in Region 4. This is another Class 3A matchup. The Owls lead 2-0, surprising 2-0 to a lot of people after wins over Macon County and Gordonsville. I think I picked Gordonsville last week.
Right.
It made me look dumb. That ain't too hard to
I
do.
got a funny story to tell you about that off air. Off air.
Upperman, Adam Kane, since coming over from Sequatchie County, Don, I think he's done a really good job with that Upperman program.
Oh yeah, he has, and he's took the talent that they've got, and he's put them in an offense that suit them really well. Because when he was at Sequatchie County, he's a wing T guy.
Right.
He's a South Georgia wing T guy. So the fact that they're still doing some wing T stuff, but like Brian's doing at Summit, there's some spread stuff because of the McAllister kid at quarterback and stuff like that. So they're able to do a little bit of everything, and they're probably, them and Loudon are probably the 2 biggest, and Red Bank are the 3 teams that will be fighting it out to see who gets to deal with Alcoa in that semifinal.
Right.
So
yep.
I take Upperman. I like what Scott Murray has done at Smith County already. Obviously, they've your neck of the woods, those people are fired up now in Carthage because they're pretty good again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they get it done tonight. I think Upperman wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you, Donovan. Man, I think Upperman just got too much for him. I think Smith.
You bailing on your boys, huh?
No, I'm not bailing on them. I just think, Upperman has a little too much. But I'll tell you what, don't be surprised if this is a 7-point ball game.
I think McAllister will be the difference tonight. I think that,
John Ross had a huge ball game last week.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, he's a
He's
stud for Smith County, isn't he?
Well, he's just a good kid, good player, hard-nosed. He's not going to you know, you're not going to go out there and go, good Lord, look how fast he is, or good Lord, look how big he is. But at the end of the ball game, you're looking at his stat line, and you're like, good Lord, he's got 200 yards and 16 tackles. You know, but so like I said, I think Upperman gets the ball game. It's at home, but I think don't think it's going to be a huge blowout.
Right.
I don't see it.
Right.
I think 7-10 type ball game maybe.
All right. Well, the next game we're going to talk about, we're going to go back up to 5A over East Tennessee, Fulton and Powell in that Region 3 opener. We felt preseason Region 3 probably the toughest region top to bottom, but Oak Ridge has been a little disappointing. Of course, our Fulton guy, Rob Black, 0-2 now, but against a very brutal schedule with South Doyle being so good this year, and then, of course, Knox Central beat them by 1 last week. What's going on with the offense over there, Donovan? They haven't been able to move the ball at all.
They don't have the talent they're used to.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest difference. And when you go from Xavier Malone, who started for 4 years,
Right.
and there's no development of anybody behind him,
right,
that's going to happen. And they're kind of in a valley right now. They're not. They of course Fulton has been up so much, especially under Rob, that every now and then you're going to run into a valley, and that's where they're at. So
right.
I think they're 0-3 because unless Powell does what they did in Week 1 against Greenville, and they have like 200 yards of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for Powell, they're their own worst enemy.
That's right.
Like
that's what I've been hearing.
Teams cannot stop them offensively. They got 3 really good backs. Tressel, the quarterback's really good. If they don't beat themselves, they've got a legitimate shot in 5A, I do believe.
They trailed by 10, I think, entering the fourth quarter against Anderson County last week. So they scored in bunches.
And scored 28 points in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. Lee, Tommy Sweat, rough start. New quarterback at Fulton, 38% completions. What do you think? Is Fulton they're going to hang in this game? What's your thought?
I don't think so, Mike. I really don't. But nobody's going to sleep on Coach Black. Nobody's going to throw shade at him.
Sorry for Coach Black.
That's right. But nobody's going to throw shade at him. They like he said, they may be in between classes here,
right.
A couple classes. But I think Powell's got way too much, man.
I'm going to go Powell as well. We're going to step it up a little bit. Our number 5 game, this one, Donovan, is very intriguing.
Interesting.
Pearl Cone won this game 55-0 there in the regular season. Stratford got things turned around there, 35-27. They knocked Pearl Cone out, surprised everybody last year in the playoffs. Tony Brunetti's team this year against some really good competition. They knocked Cane Ridge off. Of course, they beat NBA last week. What's your thoughts on this game right here, Donovan?
Pearl Cone, probably at least 10, maybe 14.
Wow.
They don't have Stratford doesn't have the offensive line they had last year, and Mr. Moore's a little dinged up. So I think Pearl Cone wins.
Okay. What do you think, Lee?
I like Pearl Cone as well, but I think Moore, even dinged up, is going to get his yards tonight. I think it's a metro. There's a lot of pride going into some ball games over there in that metro area, some bragging rights,
Right.
But I think, man, Pearl Cone, what makes him special this year is Martino Owens.
Yeah,
Buddy,
I agree.
That kid is good. I mean, very good.
26 of 39 Lee passing, 391 yards, 5 TDs, no interceptions.
That's right. So I think Pearl Cone pretty handily tonight, I do think.
I like Stratford preseason in this region, but I think with the addition of Owens at quarterback to go with that really dangerous backfield they got, I think the Firebirds are going to cruise here. 89% of the Tennessee sports fans agree. All right, Mount Juliet 11. This will be a good one right here, Donovan. I think region opener for both of these teams. Of course, this was a 4-point game last year. Chuck Gentry, me and Lee are very impressed with Chuck. Lee has to be good friends with him. He's done a great job with that Lebanon program.
Oh, he has. And I think they'll improve over the year. I think their biggest thing is trying to find somebody comfortable at quarterback.
Right.
Because obviously Mr. Shannon at running back is a real deal. I think Mount Juliet's really good on defense. So I think Mount Juliet, and obviously they're not at home, so it's kind of funny that I'm actually taking a road team. But I think they win, and it's probably a 14-10, 17-13 type game.
Kind of like last year.
Right, and I think it's low scoring because of the defenses. So
Yep.
I think they win, but I think it's going to be really close. And like I said, if Mount Juliet's able to win and bounce back, and they're 1-1, Gallatin wins, that sets up a wild game next weekend at Mount Juliet. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Lee.
I'm gonna go Lebanon at home. I think they're 10 years. They've been getting boat raced by Mountain Juliet for the last 10 years, and I think if Coach Gentry is ever gonna get Mountain Juliet,
It's got to be now.
he needs to get it now.
Yeah.
I think he's got the opportunity. Let me put it that way. I think he's got the team
Yeah.
and the opportunity to do so. I do agree. I think Copus has got to get a little more consistent at the quarterback spot for them. He's playing.
I don't like that he has to go both ways.
Yeah,
Typically,
and,
you don't see a 6'8" quarterback going both ways.
Right, and Coach Gentry, he alluded to that. I'm probably playing him out of position.
Yeah, he's got to do what he got to do.
But he got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
But I think the difference in the game tonight, obviously Shannon's going to get his yards. You're going to see what you see from Mountain Juliet. But I like Davila at linebacker. I think he's going to get a turnover or two at home. And I think it's going to be a tight, maybe 3 points the other way, Donovan. I think Lebanon.
I'm going to go with Donovan. I'm going to go Mount Juliet. I think it's a close game as well. Well, I agree with you guys, but I'm going to give a slight edge to Mount Juliet. I think they get it done. Coming off that bye week,
That's
they had
true.
2
That's
weeks
true.
to prepare.
That's true.
So I think that'll help them a little bit. And he proved with a little time like he did against Oakland, he can game plan.
That's
well,
right.
The thing is Trey has never, this is a stat stuffer for next week, especially if they win, he's never lost to a Wilson County team as far as Lebanon, and he's perfect against Lebanon and Wilson Central.
That's right. That's exactly
Okay,
right.
yeah, that's interesting. Trousdale County, Watertown. We got to step it up, guys. We got about 4 minutes. Region title on the line, according to most folks over in that area. Region 4, this was a slobber knocker last year. Leah and I were there, 22-21. Watertown won it last year. Trousdale avenged that loss in the playoffs. Yellow Jackets, our fan base likes them 58% to win this one.
I'm going to go Trousdale on the road in a very close ball game, though. Watertown's defense is pretty good. That Nolesville game was at the half, I think, was tied last week, 14-all. I think they just ran out of gas, which you should, against 4A versus the 2A. They probably, substituted,
right.
Get you gas a little bit. I think Trousdale on the road tonight, though.
What's your thoughts, Donovan?
Trousdale, I agree with the lead. Trousdale in a low-scoring game.
Blake Satterfield getting his opportunity to knock the Watertown Tigers off. Shelbyville Page, this is a game, and Lee and I really had planned to go to this one to start with this week, but we couldn't get in touch with the AD, Donovan. He finally calls me back the day after we get this set up. So, yeah, y'all come on. So, as it worked out. But I'm glad to be over here at Eagleville. Not to say that I'm not, but I knew this is potentially the best game, if not one of the best games in the mid-state tonight. Shelbyville and Page, thoughts, Donovan?
We don't have a lot of time, so I'll just go ahead. I say Page.
That's all right. Hey, brother, we're YouTube.
Page,
we can go over if we want to.
Page in a shootout, probably.
Page in a shootout.
I think there's a lot of points scored in this game, and I feel like Page has got a little bit of a better defense, and maybe they make one more stop, and they get the win.
I think maybe what I like about this game, and I love Cade Cunningham. I love his dad, Kevin, and his mom, Janet. A great family. Of course, Mason played there as well. He's playing college ball now. I love the family, but I'm a little worried about my boy, Cade. I'm wondering what he's going to do on this stage. This is the biggest stage he's ever been on as a player, a sophomore quarterback in his third start. And he's coming into a house that Cade Walker, and Lee and I think Cade Walker is one of the best quarterbacks in the mid-state. We really high on him. I give the advantage to Page because they have a senior quarterback tonight. Yeah,
I'm going to go Page at home. I think tonight, everybody knows Bubba Johnson's going to get his yards. You're not going to stop the guy.
Right.
He's going to get his. When he touches it, he's getting his yards. I think, though, tonight, Cade has been Walker, not Cunningham, but Walker for Page. Stats-wise, been a little,
he's down.
He's down a little bit, but I think tonight he starts spinning it a little better at home, and I like Page in a pretty high-scoring affair, but close.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe a turnover or something different.
All right, Donovan, this is the one I'm curious to hear about from you. I think you said you've got kids playing or go to school here, correct?
Yeah.
And, of course, we're talking about our game here, Eagleville and Forrest. Donovan, tell us who you like in this one.
Well, I picked Forrest in my picks.
Right.
And it's kind of a situation where Coach Walker is superstitious with me, and he wanted me to do it on purpose. So I did it for him. So, but the thing is I think it's a good game, and the thing is that they've split the last 4 meetings.
Right.
And Eagleville has won the last 2 by a single point. They
That's
won
right.
14-13 last year. They won 21-20 in 2017. So them being at home, I feel like obviously they can get it done. But the thing is Forrest is better this year than they have been the previous 2 years, and they're huge up front. So I think Forrest wins. I think it's close. I think if Eagleville wins, Eagleville's able to get them to turn it over, and they can, and they score because of turnovers. But I think Forrest wins the game.
Lee, what's your thoughts on the game?
I think Coach Walker is going to have his hands full with McClendon.
Right.
I really do. I think he's a special player at the 2A level. On both sides of the ball, he's special. But I like what Coach Stephenson said, talking to him about the kicking and the special teams. He said this last 2 losses, he felt like they were better on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but special teams is what killed them, and they've been focusing on cleaning up special teams. And I think if they can do that out here tonight, I think they get the win.
This is a tough one to pick, man. I'm not going to lie. Now, I had a buddy of ours from Eagleville told me that they would have lost to Cornersville last week if it hadn't been for turnovers. Eagleville very young in a lot of key spots, and I'm afraid that youth tonight is going to show up. They've benefited from a lot of turnovers from a young team they've played the last 2 weeks. So I think maybe the youth of Eagleville hurts them tonight against a pretty good Forrest team. They're going to have a big game from Trevor Griffin to have a shot, Donovan.
Yes, he's their best player, and he's going to – they go the way he goes.
Right.
I mean, he's Ethan Cobb last year.
Right.
Because anytime Ethan had a big game, Eagleville won. When he was so-so and not very good, Eagleville didn't win. So I think it's the same thing with Trevor.
Well, Lee, who did you pick? I missed that.
I went with Forrest. I hope the guys over there in the concession stand didn't hear that.
Yeah, we done been promised one of those baked potatoes, Donovan.
Yeah.
Well, they got good stuff here. There ain't no doubt about
yeah,
that.
Oh,
do.
it smells good.
It does smell good. It's been killing me. So you're Forrest, and
I said Forrest.
You said Forrest. I guess I'm going to go ahead and make it unanimous. I don't have it. If I had an Eagleville hat, I'd go Eagle, but I don't.
There you go.
Coach Walker didn't.
Corso
Coach Walker didn't give me a hat,
Speaking
so
of
I'm going to
hats,
go the other way.
Speaking of hats, Mark Sampson, I got your hat. It's coming.
All right, there you go.
Sorry, man. I had to throw it in there. He's been on me like a rented mule.
We need to get Donovan a hat.
Yeah,
Do a little advertising for us.
There you go. Well, you see that I'm advertising the Tennessee Football Coaches Association.
That's right.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I appreciate that too, man.
I'll,
You're doing a good job with that.
Hey, I tell coaches all the time, I'll rep anybody. I've got stuff from Memphis and Jackson and East Tennessee.
Speak on that. We got
Yeah,
time?
talk
Talk about that
tell-
just a minute.
yeah.
About what you're putting on with the Titans and everything every year. How you going?
Well, I'm the media director. It's not all me. We have coaches across the state. We've got about 20 guys on our board of directors. Thomas McDaniel from Christian Brothers, the former Oakland coach, is the president right now.
Yep.
And for the last 4 years, with Josh Corey's help, Josh is the youth coordinator, outreach coordinator for the Titans. We put together they allow us to come and set up at the stadium, and we have usually about 130 high schools that participate, and we had about 65 to 70 colleges from all across the country that come in, and they look at huddle film and they get to know the coaches, and hopefully every year we have a lot
Going
of
through that
kids
process will help a lot,
yeah,
won't it?
Absolutely. And the great thing is it doesn't make any sense for the schools not to come.
Right.
For the high schools to come, and I really believe like when you have a Cornersville and Eagleville, a really small school, I think it helps any school to get their name out there and get the kids' names
Exposure.
out there. But the little programs, the 1A, the 2A, the 3A schools, it really helps them because if you come to Rutherford County, you're not necessarily coming to Eagleville because it's away from everybody. You're going to Oakland. You're going to Blackman. You're going to Riverdale to see these big-time prospects. The only way you're coming to Eagleville is if they have a once-in-a-lifetime type player. But they can come to our recruiting fair in April, and and meet 70 colleges that they may not have ever met. So it's been really good, and we love our relationship with the Titans because they put it on, and actually the Titans are the only professional football team that actually does this. None of the rest of them have, so that's
cool.
really cool to be the first NFL team to be able to do that.
Right. Dude, I think it's outstanding, man.
Yeah.
Promoting the coaches. Like you said, you're getting coaches in front of coaches, and they're building a relationship, and you're getting kids that otherwise might not get looked at out there in front of guys, and that's what this is about, man.
See, the thing is, at the end of the day, the Division I schools in the state, obviously Tennessee, Vanderbilt, MTSU, Memphis, they can't come because of NCAA rules.
Right.
That's right.
But they're coming off, and the thing is, they're coming off a couple of weeks of not being able to talk to recruits, and now they can go into the homes.
Right.
That's right.
And see the kids they really want to see. So they don't come, but it's great to be able to get the other kids in there. And the thing is, what's awesome is you can, the Austin Peays, or not the Austin Peays, the Georgia Southern, the smaller
school.
Yes, it's huge for them, and the cool thing is those schools like that. Every small school in Tennessee, the UTCs.
That's right, buddy.
Not Lambeth. Some of the Rhodes,
yeah.
UT Martin, all that. They come every year. Every small school in Tennessee comes every year.
Yeah.
And this last year we had We had schools from 17 different states.
Cool.
And we even had Florida. We had Florida. We've had both Carolinas, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio. Illinois, Minnesota.
Well, here's what a lot of people fail to realize on that is this coach that's sitting there at UT Martin, who might be a linebackers coach, is friends with the guy who's the head DC at Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
So they talking, man. They're talking, and that gets overlooked sometimes. This guy may say, hey, man, I don't know if we got a spot for you. You might be a little too good for us. Right. Get you on this guy, or vice versa. And, at the end of the day, go to college, get your degree.
Well, and every year we have kids that get recruited, and they get recruited because they came to the recruiting fair.
That's right.
So I mean, and those are the stories that you really like to hear, because then it makes us as an organization, it makes us feel really good, and it makes us feel like what we're doing is making a difference.
Right.
Well, that's good stuff, Don. Man, hey, man, Lee and I appreciate you jumping on with us, buddy.
No problem, guys.
Anytime. We very much value what you do there at TennesseeHighSchoolFootball.com, or TN highschoolfootball.com, correct?
Yes.
So you can get all Donovan stuff there, and we appreciate you, dude. And Lee and I are glad to be buddies with you, man.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys.
All right. Well, check us out next week, folks. Go to FridayMainEvent.com. You can get links to all our stuff, our YouTube channel, get access to it there. Of course, CoachT.com. We have links there as well. We'll be at Marshall County next week. We're going to see Shelbyville, Marshall County. So looking forward to that one.
That'll be a good one.
Yes, sir. So for Donovan Stewart, Lee Teat, I'm Mike Molder. This has been the Friday Main Event, and we'll see you guys next week.